I'm just gonna do like a lowdown, a quick thing of what I've experienced. Third Fridays before the change with the chamber taking this, um, I've dealt with a lot of it. Our spot, Barfly, was right down in smack of the middle here with the Third Fridays. So if you have Main Street here, you have now the red will be the wet zone. So the new Third Friday, this is wet zone. So we have all that wet zone. The confusing thing with this is each business, and I'll just do where Barfly is now. Barfly was here, and this blue is our blueprint. We can call this the sidewalk. So our blueprint extends into that, which we drew when we did our blueprints originally. And this is where a lot of businesses have to be very careful, because if you didn't draw that blueprint with your license, that doesn't mean now, I'll give you an example. I had the pizza place that was next to me at the old Barfly. One of the owners never had tables out front, never had beers sold out there. The new owner, the gal that owned it and bought it from them, she started putting tables out front and serving beers out there. Well, his blueprint was just the inside only and was not the sidewalk whatsoever. So she found out the hard way and got in a lot of trouble for that, and then had to go back down and redraw her blueprints and submit it and everything with the planning to get that now approved. So when we have our blueprint here, and it's always there, this red wet zone doesn't mean that we can now sell here. So if we want to do an extension, which you can file for, and I've done this before, so we get our space out front, which is this parking spot, and we would file for this extension. And when you file for that, you have to do a drawing showing where your original blueprint is, where your extension is, where you would have a bathroom available, and that sort of thing. And it has to be filed with the city to go through zoning and get approved, and goes to Alcohol, Tobacco, and Tampa to get approved for that extension. That's allowing you basically to extend off your original blueprint and sell into this wet zone. With the Third Fridays now, because you have this wet zone, what's confusing to everybody is alcohol can be sold at a business and you can walk out in the street. It can be sold at this business and you can walk out in the street. That alcohol purchased from maybe Nolan's down here or 8th Ave down here allows you to go up and down this wet zone that the chamber now has for the Third Fridays, but it doesn't allow you to go into my blueprint. So that's where we have to be very, very careful. And this is something with the old Barfly I ran into a lot. And when I filed for those extensions, whether I filed for the extension or not, and I had my sidewalk area, I went through, this was difficult. There was a lot of undercover ETF down here. We dealt with a lot. That's why I never liked Third Fridays back then. It was just a challenge, but we didn't have this wonderful wet zone that the chamber's doing with the new events. So if you have your marked area, to keep anybody coming from 8th or Nolan's or wherever coming into your blueprint, you have to mark this. The new Barfly, what we do, we have signs posted in the front that says, no outside alcohol. Even though they can walk up and down the street, that alcohol cannot enter my building. And we have signs. We have a trash can right by the door that says, chuck it or chunk it and whatever, and dispose of it, because that's a violation of your blueprinted area. They can leave with it because of the wet zone, but they cannot enter with it. A couple of the businesses that are not understanding the extension because of the use of the wet zone of alcohol up and down is, this is where we run into issues. So say this is Nolan's here. Nolan's wants to put a bar out front. He's outside of his blueprint, so he would be in violation. If he wants to do that, he would have to file for the extension for that. We do a bar out front, but we do a bar on the sidewalk, which is written into my blueprint. My blueprint actually goes the sidewalk all the way to Cold Stone. It goes all the way here. We have this front patio. My blueprint goes there. This is the courtyard with the fountain, and I actually wrote my blueprint to be all of that as well. we were smart early on and drew that there. And again, if you purchase a business or this is new, you've added alcohol, whatever it is, you need to know where your original blueprint is. Your blueprint stays the same. Just because there's the wet zone doesn't mean it changes. It never changes. It has to be, it's pretty black and white or blue and red. It's they can't mix. And that's where it gets confusing.
Well, what about the sidewalk then? That's in your blueprint. How do you get people not on your sidewalk with outside alcohol?
The sidewalk is a pass through, so then it's a common area. Like we have the tables out there. The city allows us to have that, so it's a pass through. They can pass through that area, but we also have to. If we're selling alcohol on our blueprint area, we have to mark our area. We have signs. Like I said, I used to draw like big chalk taped areas and everything, like no alcohol past this line, along the curb there, unless you're extending into the street. I mean, you want to protect yourself and mark it well, otherwise you're gonna run into problems. And then with the chamber, with this event now with the wet zone, if we have every business that is, this is the regular blueprint, this is the regular blueprint, this is the regular blueprint, and every business, because this is wet zone, decides to sell alcohol here now, and here now, and here, and here, ATF's gonna be down here, and ATF's gonna get a hold of that and say, this is just pure chaos, and we're gonna have to shut this down. I mean, it's gonna come back on us.
Can you apply for a permit to come out into the street in front of Barfly?
Yes, yes. That would be an extension. So here's my blueprint, right? I permanently have all the time. I operate business every day the same way, every day and every night. Because there's now the third Friday wet zone, if I want to sell beyond this blueprint area, I have to file for that extension.
And is that extension, let's say,
It's $100
per event?
each time you do it.
Each time you do it, okay.
Yep. Each time you do it, it's $100 for that extension.
And that's the same no matter what size your restaurant is or what your.
It's $100.
$100.
If your blueprint is, if you're this tiny little place right here and you got this little blueprint, you just want to have a tiny little bar there, it's still $100. If you want to have a giant blueprint, it's $100. And that's just you extending from your blueprint. And that's where it gets tricky, and that's where I'm seeing a lot of people not understanding this, is because, hey, we have this wonderful wet zone now, so hey guys, we can sell alcohol all over the place. Your blueprint stays the same, it's the same every day. Just because Third Friday is wet zone here doesn't mean it changes. All that's allowing you to do is now anybody's drinking, alcohol, beer, wine, liquor, whatever, can leave with it and go up and down the street and not have the issues. But when they leave with it, say they buy from Barfly and they go walk down the road and they want to go into 8th Ave, they can't bring that in to 8th Ave. They just are allowed to walk up and down the road with it. If you buy from 8th Ave and walk down here, you can't go into Nolan's with the alcohol. And this is where everybody's really got to protect themselves.
So if somebody wanted to get a blueprint permit extension for Third Friday, every third Friday they wanted that blueprint extension, what would they need to do?
There's a form. They can go online, they can print the forms out, and during the pandemic we were able to get those forms and mail them in, which was great. Now they have to print that form out, fill it out. On the form too is going to have it's a blank page area, and it says draw in your extension. So on that page you're going to have to draw kind of here's my regular blueprint, and I want to extend here into the sidewalk or the parking space, and my bathroom's in my building here, and you're gonna have to draw that on that form, and then that form has to go down to the city, to zoning, and zoning has to sign off, and zoning might say, well, you can't just extend in the street, it's not even a Third Friday. They got to see what event's going on, what's happening. For a Third Friday, I don't think you would have any issues, but filling that whole form out, go to zoning signs off on it, and then you got to drive to Tampa and pay your $100 and submit the form. And
can you submit for the whole year and pay $1,200?
I think you can only do 3 to 6 months at a time. So you can do some in advance. You don't have to just keep doing this every month. But and part of this, so this drawing that you have as well, on that page, you have to have that copy of that and have that posted showing that you've been approved for this permit for that extension also. That has to be posted, you know, so it's a lot of factors, you know. I don't do it now because I have such a huge blueprint and I keep my bar on the front area of our sidewalk, so we're within our blueprint. I just feel like sometimes just the confusion, and I may do some down the road, but just the confusion of some of it, and then going to, you know, Tampa each month and, you know, paying, it's $100 to do it. Depends on how much you want to do out, extended off of your blueprint, whether it's on the sidewalk or the street. But this gets tricky because, again, you could have down on the wet zone down here, and you have Basanos or something, and they have a stage out here. No alcohol sales can be in this wet zone area without filing that extension, like at all. It cannot be beyond your blueprint.
And we need to have a copy. The chamber needs a copy of everyone's blueprint extension for Third Friday. If you're going to sell alcohol on Main Street, we have to have a copy of the extension permit.
Yeah, and we're just trying to be proactive with that because we don't want the event shut down. You know, we're just trying to help like this, educate people. Yeah.
And keep it simple. But if we're not all doing something to protect ourselves and the chamber event, that wet zone, this is wonderful. I dealt with the Third Fridays a long time ago, like I said, right where original Barfly was, and it was tough back then. So now it's just a lot easier. It's a lot more fun. It's more enjoyable for us because we do have this wet zone. But if everybody's not doing the thing they're supposed to do, that wet zone will be gone. Because I'm surprised ATF's not been down here. We've running 4 months of this or something, and it's they get whiff of that, and it's just crazy. You can't just have your bar in the road, or anywhere without getting approved with that extension. The extension paper too. In addition to what the chamber is doing now with the form you fill out each month. So if you're gonna extend out here, or you're even gonna do a bar, that form with the chamber has to be filled out, and then chamber approves of it, and you have to post that up. So if you do an extension, you should have this sheet posted with your drawing from Tampa, from Alcohol Tobacco, and then you should also have that little slip from the chamber, that yellow-green slip, that you're approved for that. And both of those should be posted, because I know, not to scare anybody, but I know next month the chamber is going to go around and start checking these forms that they're posted, and it's going to be easier if it's visible. If it's not visible, they're going to ask for it, and you'll have to go find it, or if you don't have it, you can get in a lot of trouble.
And it'll be a different form every month.
Yeah, so the form will be a different color every month. So this month, for November it was orange. It'll be a different color next month.
Change it up, and just got to do it right, because again, this has been wonderful. The success of the Third Friday has been amazing, and everybody's really happy with it. But I think that's this confusion of a lot of it. This hopefully simplifies it a little bit for some people.
Thank you so much.
I know the bar and restaurant, I know you guys have your own group and you talk all the time. Are you guys all comfortable that everybody's doing what they're supposed to do, or you have